So, good morning everyone. So, welcome for the class. So, in the last class, we discussed about brief introduction to HTML, the first chapter in HTML. Still, there are many advanced concepts of HTML, like how to create HTML forms, how to create tables. So that comes next in the second module, HTML forms and tables. Some of the advanced concepts of HTML we will discuss. So right now, we'll directly move to the second topic, important topic in the first module, which is CSS, Cascading Style Sheet. So today we will discuss what is Cascading Style Sheet and how to learn a Cascading Style Sheet language. We will study that. So today we are going to discuss CSS, which is a cascading style sheet. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet Language. So in this chapter objectives, we are going to discuss what is CSS. We are going to discuss the CSS syntax, then the location of styles, where we can place the style within document or outside for one document or for collection of documents. So style can be placed at three different locations. You will see the location of where styles can be specified. Next important point of CSS is selectors. You will see what are selectors and what are the different types of selectors. Okay. Then the other things that we will see, that how styles will interact. Then we will see the box model and CSS text styling, that is how to style the text in a HTML document. So these are some of the objectives of this chapter. So today we will first discuss what is CSS and how come it is different from HTML. So first thing is, see, CSS is a cascading style sheet language. It is a W3 standard, that is World Wide Web Consortium standard, for describing the presentation or appearance of HTML elements. So for giving the presentation or appearance of an HTML element, we use cascading style sheet language. It's a language standardized by World Wide Web Consortium. So that means, what does HTML, why we use HTML and why we use CSS? See, HTML is used to give a structure to a web document. A structure for a web document is defined by HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, whereas the style for a given web document is provided by CSS. So style is given by Cascading Style Sheet Language CSS. The structure of a web document is given by HTML. So the point is, so if you want to get a structure, let us make a synonymous. So assume I want to get a good personality, good structure, people go for a gym. So that gives the structure for a person, physical structure. So if you want to be beautiful, you may go to a beauty parlor. So that is equivalent to cascading style sheet. So that means, to get a structure, the structure of a document is defined by HTML, whereas the style for a given document is given by CSS. You may wonder, what is style? See, in a web document, there are a lot of elements, maybe text, maybe images, maybe audio, video, everything is there. So the point is, style refers to the colors, the size, font family, what should be the border, what should be the images, background images, where should be an element be positioned, that means at which location a given element should be placed. So all these are actually the style that we can specify using CSS. So that means, any color, I want a paragraph of text to be displayed in red. I want the background color of the document to be in blue. So I want the font size to be 20. So I want a table whose border. So I want to define the border, how a border of a table should look like, or what should be the background image for a given document. Where should a image be placed, or where should a given element be placed. All these are actually defined by using CSS, which is Cascading Style Sheet Language. the point to note here is, what can CSS do is, it can assign font properties. You will see what are the various font properties. Colors, we can decide which color we want. Then size of the elements, not only text, it may be image or any element in a document, size can be defined. Similarly, borders, maybe border for a paragraph of text or a border for a table that we are drawing, or border for an image, like that. Similarly, background images, what should be the background images of a document, or what should be the background for a text paragraph, or like this. So every document you can have a background image which you can decide using CSS. Even the position of element, the location in the document, where should I place a given paragraph of text, or where should I place an image. The position of an element is defined by CSS, cascading style sheet. So you can say that cascading style sheet is not a programming language. Similar, HTML is not also a programming language. HTML is a markup language which is used to give the structure to a web document. Whereas CSS is a style sheet language that gives style to a web document. So you may ask, is it not possible to give style using HTML? See, in HTML there is limitation of giving a style. In HTML there are certain attributes and values which we can give, which we can use, which will give a limited style to HTML or web documents. But that is very limited. So clearly, to give a style, we should use CSS, cascading style sheet language. So that is the point to note. So HTML is a markup language, CSS is a style sheet language. So HTML gives the structure to the web document, CSS gives the style to the web document. So neither HTML or CSS is a programming language. You can't add numbers or you can multiply numbers using CSS. Okay, that means in a web we do computation. That means we need to use some other language like JavaScript or any scripting languages like JavaScript, PHP or other languages should be used to do computation. So in HTML and CSS, just we can give the structure to the document and style to the document. So okay, that's what CSS is. So which is a standard defined by W3C, which is a style sheet language that gives the style to the web document. So and the CSS language has its own syntax rules. How HTML has its own syntax. In HTML document, it consists of one or more elements. An element consists of control and contents. Control is nothing but a tag. Content is the actual content of a given element, which may be text, which may be image, audio or video or animation. So here, how HTML, in HTML we should have an opening tag and closing tag. We have a syntax, how opening tag is defined, how closing tag is defined, and for every tag there can be one or more attribute and values. We used to give attribute name is equal to value. So there was some structure, there was some syntax to HTML language, markup language. Similarly, CSS language has its own syntax rules. It has its own syntax, which is the topic that we will be discussing here. So now, where can we add CSS? See, CSS can be placed at different locations. Later in the chapter, we will discuss the location where we can place CSS. The one way of doing it is CSS can be added directly to any HTML element. Assume there is an element paragraph, P tag, paragraph element. There is a paragraph of text. I want to make that paragraph to be displayed in red color. So then what you can do is, I can apply the style CSS to the paragraph element. So I can say that this paragraph should be displayed in red. So one way of doing it is, you can directly add a CSS to any HTML element. So I can add one style to paragraph, one style to header H1, another style to div. Like this, for different elements, different style like color, font size and other styles can be applied. but that's not a good way of giving the style to every individual document. We will see that. So how do you do that? So directly you can use style attribute. A style attribute can be used within an element. So that means, for example, I can use CSS can be used directly within a given HTML element. I can give paragraph p tag. Within p tag, I can use attribute style. I can give color red. So the point here is, what does it do? So style attribute with the property as color and value as red will display the given paragraph in red. That means where you are specified the style within the element, within the paragraph element. So the second way of doing the giving the style is within the head element. So I told you one of the important tags in HTML is head tag or head element. See, I told you in the previous class, in the head element, whatever you include in a head element will be executed once the document is loaded. Once the document, a web document is loaded, whatever action is to be taken within the head element or head tag, that will take place. So that means within head tag, I can give a style. That means, for example, within head element, I can give a style, paragraph color red, H1 color blue, font size 20. So then I can give, so dye, so color green. So if I specify these three or some style to 3 elements in head, then when a given document will be loaded, all the paragraphs will display with color red, all dye elements will be displayed with color green, and all the H1 header will be displayed with font size 20. So that means CSS can be placed within head tag of your HTML document. So the third way of doing it is in a separate file that contains only CSS. So this is the third important approach that is quite recommended. I can create a own CSS file with .css. You can, that means you can create a separate file .css and place it in the same location as the document root, and all this style will be applied to any document that we are adding. So for example, if you are not clear, say I can have a document, assume a college website is there, so I will have a document ISC, okay, so I can have a document isc.html. So isc.html, so csc.html like this, HTML. So they are HTML document. So similarly ec.html, SJCT has so various departments. So every department will have a web page. So all of them, of course, belongs to our all of these things will actually belongs to a website, which is our college website. So sjcit.ac.in. So now we have these 3 documents. I want to apply style to this. So I could have individually have a style specified within this, within CSE and within EC. So but the point lies here is, so third method of doing it is, so I can have separate CSS file, our something, let us say our style .css. Now, what is this our style .css? An extension .css is used to create a file, CSS file. It contains a set of rules. Now, the point is this will tell you what should be the color and part of paragraph, header, dive like this. All the styles is there. So then I want to give a style to isc.html. Then you can include this our style.css here. Even csc.html need the same style, you can actually use here. So if the same style is to be applied to another department, you can use it here. That means style is specified separately in a separate file, and you can include these files in HTML so that this style will be applied to all the pages belonging to a given domain or given website. So this actually gives a uniformity to all the web pages belonging to a site. So this is actually what we call it as external style sheet. Okay, so that's what the first point you can do is, so directly you can add any HTML element. Second is, so that means directly means within tag itself we can specify using style attribute, you can specify it. Second one is yet element, and the third one is using separate. So text file, you can actually create a cascading style sheet. So these are the three ways. So that's what three levels of style sheet in the coming slide will say. One is known as inline, the other one is document level style sheet, the third one is external level style sheet. Inline means directly within an element, within a paragraph or within a header, I can say style as color red or color blue or font size is equal to 20. Directly, that means style is directly specified within an HTML element, that is inline. So next is document level style sheet is in the head tag I can specify list of rules that will give you some style that will apply to entire document, entire HTML file it will apply. Whereas, so if you create a separate style sheet with extension .css, you can include this style among various HTML documents. One style sheet, so which can be applied to multiple HTML documents. This is known as the external style sheet, which is a separate text file that contains all CSS rules. Okay. So anyway, so next is, let's go to the next topic. So what are the benefits of CSS? See, the benefits of CSS is, so better way of describing presentation than HTML. So in HTML, presentation or style is very limited. If we use CSS, in a better way we can describe the style. That is the point. So the first, some of the benefits is degree of formatting control in CSS is significantly better than that provided in HTML. That means degree of formatting control. Formatting control is better provided compared to what is provided in HTML. Then website becomes significantly more maintainable because all formatting can be centralized into one or small handful CSS file. The most important thing is maintainable. Say individually, if you go and give paragraph in one isc.html, I can give paragraph color as red. Again in CSC HTML, I can go and give paragraph as red. Again in EC web page, I can give paragraph color as red. So the point is, it is decentralized. In every document, in every element you are specifying this style. So but assume I want to change all the paragraph color from red to blue. So individually in every file I should go and change, and every paragraph I should go and change the color from red to blue. So which is decentralized, which is difficult to maintain. But if I am using the CSS and I am using an external CSS, if I change the color, paragraph color as blue, so it is applied to all the documents in which CSS file is included. So that's the second point. So CSS driven sites are more accessible. So CSS driven sites are what? They are more accessible compared to non-CSS driven sites. So site built using centralized set of CSS files for all presentation will be quicker to download because each individual HTML file will contain less markup. This is quite important to note. So quicker to download. How this is possible? Quicker to download. Say, assume I will give color is paragraph color is equal to red. Assume in a page isc.html 10 times. So color is equal to red is there. So 10 paragraphs. Similarly, in CSC, 20 paragraphs will be there. EC, there will be 25 paragraphs. So 10 paragraphs, 25 and 20. So naturally 55 paragraphs, I will specify color is equal to red. Assume I am loading a web page. So then 55 times paragraph color is equal to red, that attribute should be downloaded, which consumes more bandwidth. So instead of that, if I have specified in a CSS file, paragraph color is equal to red once, all the 55 occurrences of the paragraph element will get the same color red. But how many times you have downloaded this file? Only once in an external style sheet. So always note that. So site build CSS gives a centralized control. It is quicker to download. That means if you have element level CSS, it will be difficult. Every style should be downloaded. So if you use a centralized CSS, then it will be easier. So that is the point, quicker to download. So because each individual HTML contains less markup. CSS can be used to adapt a page for different output mediums. So note that CSS can also be used to adapt a page for a different output mediums. So these are the various benefits of especially. So the one is degree of formatting, more maintainable. Maintainable means maintenance is important because you develop a web page. Tomorrow I want to change the color, style, all these things. So it should be easily modifiable. The style should be easily modifiable. That means it will become more maintainable. So if it takes difficult, you should go to a lot of locations and change the style. It is less maintainable. If I have a centralized location where I go and change the style, it will apply to all the documents. Then you can say such a feature as easily maintainable. So if you are using CSS, the website is easily maintainable and it is more accessible and it is quicker to download. And note that CSS driven websites consumes less bandwidth compared to non-CSS driven websites, and it actually adapts to pages for different output mediums. So next is version, CSS versions. Currently we are in version 3. First was CSS level 1, which was how a language will have various versions. Here CSS also has various versions like CSS level 1, which came in 1996, then came CSS level 2 and which is in 2011, and currently we are in the era of CSS 3. Okay, I want to go for versions. These are various recommendations. These are the various versions of CSS language which is defined or standardized by World Wide Web Consortium. So browser adoption, note that depending on the browser, so CSS version, when you actually download a version, any browser, so a latest version you will download. A latest version of given browser will have a latest version of CSS being implemented in that. So in the earlier days, Internet Explorer used to have support all the CSS feature, but right now, if you say that almost all the browsers support CSS2, which is the second version of CSS. Okay, and of course CSS is a reputation for being frustrating language. So why it is a frustrating? It becomes when you start giving a style using CSS, it becomes somewhat frustrated. You will see when we start coding using CSS, you will come to know why CSS is a frustrated language. Now let's go for the CSS syntax. So keep that in mind. So CSS syntax. So a CSS document consists of one or more style rules. How you give a style using CSS using style rules. So you give a style using style rules. What is a rule? What is a CSS rule? A rule consists of a selector that defines the HTML element or elements that will be affected. So next coming chapter we will see we will define what is selector and what is the importance of selector in CSS. But right now, what is the CSS rule? It consists of CSS rules consists of selector, which is usually the name of the tag without angle bracket. Okay, that identify the HTML element or elements that will be affected. That means I want to give a style. To which element should I give this style? So I want to give a style to paragraph element, P tag. I want to give a style to H1 tag. I want to give style to emphasis tag. I want to give style to div tag. So you need to specify to which element you are giving this style. So in a rule, selector is one that identifies the HTML element. So for example, I want to give a paragraph tag. I can give paragraph like I can give something like this P color colon, note the point, that is colon red, and of course, so you will specify this in braces, and of course you will end with a semicolon here like this. So now what is this? So you people should note that color actually is what? Property. So it is a property. And what is this? Red actually is a value. Now you are telling that the color is property and red is value. So CSS has various properties, not only for colors but also for font size, font family and other things, borders and other things. So always see, this is what a rule is. So what a rule looks like, CSS rule looks like is this. So now you told this is the property, and this is the value. But what is actually this P? So P is actually here selector. So P is actually what? A selector. So what does it say? So it selects the element. So P, see a paragraph tag is there. We give paragraph tag. So now I will remove this opening and closing tag and give P. That says that, so color red is applied, this style is applied to which element? All the paragraph element in a document. That means wherever paragraph occurs, so you give that color as red. So note the point, a CSS will have a selector followed by property value pair enclosed in braces, and property value pair is separated by semicolon and colon and ends with semicolon. So should I have only one property value? No. You can have any number of property value pair. As we have seen here, I can, for paragraph I have given color is red. I can also add color red semicolon. After that I can give font size is equal to font size colon 20. That means for paragraph element we are giving the color as red and the font size as 20. So that means two property value pair are separated by semicolon. If there is only one property value, you will end that property value by semicolon. And what is that is present outside the braces is a selector, which is the name of the tag or name of the element without angle bracket. Okay, this says that to whom should selector identify to which element, which HTML element should I apply the style. So that's what it is given here. You can see the syntax: selector, property colon value, property 1, property 2, comma colon value, like that. Okay. So this is declaration, property value pair, and there is a selector. So example is given here, something like EM color red. So EM color red, what does EM color red will give? See, EM stands for emphasis tag. For example, I may give emphasis tag. I may use the emphasis tag. I may give something like SJCAD or something like this. So now I close this emphasis tag. So now you have used emphasis tag. When you see this in CSS, EM color red, what does it do? So EM tag, EM is a selector which tells for emphasis element you apply the color is equal to red. That means that the information, text information SJCAD will be displayed in color red. Okay. So here you can note that what is the selector here? P. P is the selector. That means to paragraph element it is giving various property value. First style is margin 5 points, 0, 10 points. It is giving a margin. So we'll see the metrics used here later. 5 pixels, 0, 10 pixels, 0 margin is specified. Font weight, it will say what is the font weight. It's bold, and font family it says that Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. That means wherever paragraph tag is found. So this is the style that should be applied to the paragraph tag. So now we understood what actually is a rule. A rule, CSS rule, consists of selector followed by in parentheses property value pair separated by semicolon, and every property value separated by colon. Okay, so there important, what is a selector? Selector identified to which HTML element the style should be applied. So this is the point we need to understand. Next, the series of declaration is also called declaration block. So you can have series of declaration. One declaration, what is a declaration? A property value pair is known as declaration. So a group of many declaration, property 1, value 1, property 2, value 2. So there is more than one declaration, you call that as declaration block. And finally, the declaration block along with the selector, you call it as a rule. Okay, and note that, so a declaration block need not be in a single line. It can span about multiple lines. I can give property 1, value 1. In next line, property 2, value 2. In next line, property 3, value 3. It need not be in a single line, it can be in multiple lines, but they should be separated by what? Semicolon. And if you have any white space, browser ignores that. Okay, that means I can give 3 property value pairs in one line or 3 lines, both are acceptable. So that means white space don't have an effect in CSS. Each declaration is terminated with a semicolon. That means every declaration is property value pair should be terminated with a semicolon. So whereas property value pair should be separated by colon. As I told you, each CSS rule begins with a selector. It identifies the element. As I told you again, the same thing is repeated here. So another way of thinking a selector is that they are pattern which is used by the browser to select the HTML element that will receive this style. That means selector is a pattern that will tell the browser so which element should the browser select it to apply the style. Then properties. Each individual CSS declaration must contain a property. You may have. So what can a CSS be without property? No, it is useless. Because I will give property name, paragraph, emphasis or something, and I won't give any property value pair. Means no style is applied to that property. No style is applied to that given element. So that's why every CSS declaration should have a property. So properties names are what? Predefined by CSS standard. This is what predefined. That means I gave a property name color : red. Color COLOR. E is a predefined word in CSS. If instead of assume, I will give color. So it is the predefined word. This is what? Property. This is a property. So what is this? So this is property. So color is a property. Now this is predefined. You can't give whatever. For example, if I give COL, I forgot one more, I will give COLR. So now this is not acceptable because the color is a predefined word. Okay, that means property names are predefined by the CSS. You need to remember that. Okay, for color, font size, font family. So they are all reserved words. The spelling should be correct. If you make a mistake, so no style will be applied because the CSS interpreter within your browser doesn't recognize that. Okay, that is the reason why the properties names are predefined by our CSS standard. So according to CSS 2.1, that is CSS 2.1, the first recommendation in 2 defines hundred of different, there are hundreds of properties names. You can't remember all. You should have a chart or a reference through which you can get a given property and assign a value to it. Okay, you will see that. For example, here if you note it, what are the various properties in this example? Color is one property. Margin is another property. Font weight is another property. Font family, third. So here itself in this example, there are how much? 4 properties are there. One is color, margin, font weight, font family. So that's how there are hundreds of such property names which are predefined. So various properties. Now hundreds of properties are there, CSS properties are there. They are categorized into different property type. Okay, what are those different property type? Because simply if you don't categorize into types, it will be difficult to remember or difficult to use it when you write a CSS. So for example, property type is font. Regarding fonts, there are many property like font itself will tell you what is the name of the font, font family, font size, font style, again font weight, can be bold, italics or something like this, then font face. So these are the various properties which belongs to property type fonts. Similarly for text. So for text, various property can be letter spacing. So letter means, so space between 2 letters, line height, what should be the height of the line of your text, text alignment. You know about alignment, text left aligned, right aligned or center aligned. Then text decoration, text indentation. These are some of the text property. Next, color and background. So background, hyphen color, background hyphen color, background hyphen image, background position, background repeat, and color. See, all these things are properties which are related to the type, color and background. See, background color means what should be the color behind it. If you have a text color may be red. Text may be displayed in color red. In background, I might have a blue color. Okay, similarly for an image, for any element, we can have a background color. That background and color is specified by these properties. And note that they are all reserved words. You can't make a spelling mistake for it. You should type as it is. For example, background position means background hyphen position. So if you miss that hyphen and directly give position, your CSS won't be recognized by your browser and that style won't be applied. Okay, you can, when you develop a CSS, you can try to make a spelling mistake. So remove some keywords, some of the characters and see. So your browser doesn't understand that property name, so that style won't be applied. Of course, your browser may not give an error, but that style won't be applied to the document. So that is the point. So you should give the property name as it is because it is the reserved word. Border, similarly border property types contains border, border color, what should border width, border style, border top color, border top width, etc. See, border need not be say border can be for a text. Okay, a paragraph I can give a border to it, or else I might have a table. For a table I can give style to the border of the table. What should be the color, what should be the width of the border, what should be the style, okay, all these things. So next is spacing also. These are the, I won't go into that. So these are the various, you can refer these properties in any website. So you can make a list of it. So these are the, because you are developing a mini project, at that time you want to give a style, you can use that. Then sizing, height, max width, min height, min width. For layout, so for layout these are the various properties. And for list, when you have a list of maybe an ordered list or unordered list, we can have style, list style image, list style type, all these things. In layout, these are the various properties. So now these are not limited, many are there, we have almost specified majority of them. You can go through it. Next, values. So each CS, what about the value? Now you understood property, you can't declare your own property. It is a reserved word. It is predefined by the CSS, which is W3C, World Wide Web Consortium standard. So I want to use already a property that is available and the spelling should be the same. I can't change it. What about the value? So because rules, CSS rules consist of property is to value. So that means, so you have property, let me write that PRO property colon value. So this is reserved word, as I told you, this is a reserved word. What about the value? Value can be, value for a property can be, depends on the unit that we give to the property. Okay. For example, I can give font size in pixels. I can give the font size 30. So 30 is a value depending on the property. Font size 30. But if I see color, what is the value? I can give red, blue like that. So that means property values is dependent on, value will be dependent on the property. Okay. And note that value can also be predefined list. For example, when I give color is equal to red, here color is property which is a reserved word, and again if I give red, red is also a reserved word. Okay, this is right, which is reserved word. I want to give, if I by mistake if I give RD, it is not a reserved word, so this color is not recognized and your style won't be applied. So not all, some values are predefined list of keywords like colors, red, blue, green, orange. Some of the keywords are reserved, but not all. Because if I say font size is equal to 20, or I can give 200, or I can give 50, any value can be given. So keep that in mind. So value, property value can be user defined or predefined list of keywords. Okay. So not necessary only font predefined words should be used. Other values like length and measures can have percentage. Sometimes I can give something like 100%. The value can be something like a percentage number, or I can give a number like 35, and I can give color value, and even you can also give URLs. Okay, URLs can be specified as a value for a property. So these are some of the names. I won't go into it because majority of them self-explanatory. You can go and say. For example, CSS supports a variety of different describing color. So different colors are specified is supported in CSS. So first method is you can specify a name to a color. Okay. For describing color, I can, that means what can be a color value? It can be name, It can be RGB, it can be hexadecimal, it can be RGBA, or it can have HSL. So what is this value? Name means I can give a name like color colon red, color colon art pink, okay, art pink color. So these are two example, color red, color art pink, color blue, like this. Art pink is also a reserved word defined in CSS3. Okay, you may answer, you may ask, where can I get all these names? You can go to any websites or go to W3C website, w3.org, and get it. Or else you can see the colors, especially in W3 schools, all the colors, names can be spelled like tomato, orange, dogger blue, many colors are there, but complete color listing supports 14 standard color names. Here, CSS HTML supports 140 standard color names. So these are the 140 standard names supported by CSS3. So you can get a value, and of course these every name, color name will also have a numeric equivalent value, which I will come for it. So RGB, everyone knows that color, any color is made of three values, three color combination, which is red, green and blue. RGB stands for red, green and blue. So that means in any image or any text is made up of pixels, which is a small point. So the point is, you can represent a pixel by the combination of three colors, red, green and blue. How do you specify it? That means you will be using 8-bit to represent one color. So that means if you take R, I need to specify red value, then green value, then blue. So that means usually 8 bits are used to represent. So 8. The intensity of, what should be the intensity of red, what should be the intensity of green, and what should be the intensity of blue? You specified by using what? So many bits. Red 8 bits, green 8 bits. So that means 8 plus 8 plus 8, totally how many? 1 pixel is represented in RGB model, 1 pixel is represented by 24 bits. I want to give a point, a pixel, this is blue, how you can give it? So this can be specified, for example, I can specify it as 25, 72, comma, 38. What does it say? It says the intensity of red is 25, the intensity of green is 72, the intensity of blue is 38. So of course 25 is represented using 8-bit value, 72 is represented using 8-bit value, and 38 is represented using 8-bit value. And note the point that, so you are using, you may ask, what can I give 250 or can I give 500? So I will give you a number like 300, comma 270, comma 80. So definitely this is not valid, because here 300 and 270 are not valid, because here you are using 8. That means 8-bit means 2 to the power of 8. So 2 to the power of 8 is 256. That means the value permitted is 0, minimum 0 to maximum 255. Minimum to maximum 255. That's why here I have given 300 and 270, which is not a value. So understood. So that RGB value can be specified something like this. You can give, instead of red, I can give something like color colon RGB 255, 0, 0. What does it say? That means intensity of red is 255, intensity of green is 0, and intensity of blue is 0. That means you can specify the RGB value in decimal, separated by comma and enclosed in parentheses, and before that you can give a keyword RGB. So RGB here tells you that the intensity of red, green and blue is specified as 3 decimal values. Similarly, you can also specify the intensity of RGB in hexadecimal, that is indicated, okay, by a 6-digit number, which is preceded by hash symbol, by the symbol hash. So FF000 is same as these and these two are same. How? See, 255 in hexadecimal is FF. Okay. 0 means 00. 0 means 00. This is hexadecimal number. Similarly, as some F69B4 is given, that is another hexadecimal value. That means the color can be name of the color, the red, green, blue value in decimal, or red, green, blue value in hexadecimal, or else something like this RGBA you can specify to add an alpha or a transparency value. So RGBA is different from the above RGB in that A specifies the transparency value. That means you know about transparency. See, when you give a element, the background, how transparent a given element is, that transparency is whether the background should be visible or not. So A here specifies the transparency value, which is a alpha value, to show through the color. The transparency is a value between 0 and full transparent is 1.1 and 1.0 fully opaque. So that means if you give 0 value, if I give 255, 0, 0.5 is the transparency value. It says that the background of the element should be 50% should be visible. So the transparency value is 0.5 means 50%. Minimum means full transparent means 0, full opaque, that means background should not be visible means full opaque, I should give the value of 1. Okay. So RGBA is different from that only with the last A value, which is a transparency value. There was 3 values, here 3 values comma 4th value is a transparency value, which lies between 0 and 1. Then HS value, which stands for hue, saturation and light values. It is used to specify a color using HSL, which is hue, saturation and light values. This is available only in CSS3. It's also available as well as. So saturation level of a given level, given color in terms of values can be specified, like color. I can give hue saturation value as 0, 100%, 100%. That means for green and blue, 100%, whereas for red it is specified as 0. So like this, here you can specify the values combination of red, green and blue with respect to hue saturation values. So that's how the colors can be there. For example, you people can see the units of measurements, will come to that, but note that. So if you go to any website, you can clearly specify. That means, so assume blue. I want to use a blue color. You can use the word BLUE, or I can use a color. If you see here, so 0000FF. What does it say? 00 means red part is 0. 00 again means green part is 0. Whereas FF means 255. That means blue part intensity is 255 if the value is there. So you can easily guess for red. So RGB means red means FF0000 indicates that it is red, because red intensity is 255, whereas the green and blue intensities are zeros. That will give you the color blue. Okay, so you can see the hexa. You can leave the name or use an hexa. These are the two notation. Name of the color or hexadecimal notation are the commonly used. If you want, you can use. You can also use decimal notation. Okay. So the complete list is given here, but you can also go to w3.org official website and get all the color code there. So with that, I will stop here. There are other units of measurements, relative and absolute units, which we will actually discuss in the next class. So So any doubts? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask. No doubts? So you can try color values are all examples. Okay, color, how color example with respect to color. Let me show you some code using CSS. See, for example, here with one example is their body. What is body? Body is the name of the selector. Okay, that means whatever you find within body tag, so this property value will be applied. Background color is the property. Light blue is what? Light blue is the value. Similarly, H1 is a selector. That means wherever H1 tag, header tag is there, color is white and text alignment should be center. Similarly, the selector P indicates that for paragraph tag, font family should be Verdana and font size is 20px. Px is pixel. Okay. So now you can try itself. You can try itself and see how it works. See, now we are given the style. Within style tag we have given. Where is style tag? Within head. Within head tag style is specified. So that means this whatever is specified in a head tag will be applied once a document is loaded. So what is your document? The actual document starts here. So the actual document starts here. Okay, my first CSS example paragraph here. See, this is actually a document. What happens? Go for H1, H1 color white, text align center. So H1 what it is here? My first class example. If you see, the color for this is white. And see the alignment. So alignment is actually what? Center. Similarly, for paragraph, we have used the font family. This is font family and font size as 20 pixel. So P, this is a paragraph. You can say that. So the given style, font family and font size of 20 is applied to it. And we are also given for complete body, whatever contents, whether you take this heading or this paragraph, for everything color should be light blue. That's why if you see here, the color is light blue. So that means, so this is an HTML document, so where you have added, so style within a style tag. So this is an example of document level style sheet. That means specifying the style using style tag within head tag. That means if you specify the style using head tag, the style will be applied for the entire document. So this is known as document level style sheet. See, for example, not necessary that I can modify this. For example, I can remove this H1. Okay. I can copy this. I can give here itself. So within paragraph, I can specify style. So and you can give here itself style. So you can specify style, color is equal to red, same thing will be here. So you can modify this code and do it. So what is that? If I specify something like style color is equal to red, color colon red, and of course you should follow the rules, the syntax of it. So then if you specify it, and if I remove this, so for this, so now what happens? Since I have specified within the head, these points forms the document level. But here style is specified within the tag itself. So this is known as inline style sheet. Inline means within the element defining the style. So defining the style for the entire document is document level. So external style sheet, applying this style to multiple documents is known as external style sheet, where separately in a file you will create a CSS. Okay, so you can check it here. A lot of examples are there. You can check it. Okay, and learn about the colors, especially CSS colors from w3schools.com. Okay, so any doubts you can ask. No doubts? So okay, I will